everybody, it is Quickened. So today, I really just wanted to make a video talking about my best friend, Ethan. So Ethan is my cat and today is his birthday, but not really. So I don't know Ethan's exact birthday because he's a stray. So this is Ethan's gotcha day. So gotcha is kind of like when you adopt a cat and you don't exactly know when they were born. So today is 2 years exactly since I got Ethan. I get a ton of questions about Ethan, so I thought today I would just make an entire video dedicated to him. I think it would be cool to have a video of reference as well, just to be like, here's everything about Ethan. I'm going to be doing the furry friend tag. This has been requested on the channel a lot, and I looked through the questions and a lot of them are really cool and informative, so I thought it would be great. So I'm going to jump into that. And if there's any questions this tag doesn't really like cover, I think I'm going to like add them a little bit too. So I'm just reading off my phone these questions. And the first question on the furry friend tag is, what is your pet's name? So my cat's name is Ethan. He is named after the book Ethan Frome. A couple copies of this, but here's like one of my special edition copies of Ethan Frome where they like illustrated, they like added comics to it. So Ethan is named after the character in this book named Ethan Frome. This is a pretty, there's cats in this book. This is a really great read if you ever want to read it. It's a very quick read. I think it's 100 pages. It's 99 pages, at least this format of the book. So I love this book. I think I read this book when I was 19 and I just really fell in love with it. At my last house, our cat was a female cat and I named her Maddie Silver. But we were just, what is it called? Fostering her. So I named Ethan after Ethan Frome, and it's funny, when John and I were figuring out names, I was kind of like, I'm not gonna say anything because everybody knows I want to name him Ethan. And John and I were like back and forth with names, and my best friend's boyfriend was actually like, are you naming him Ethan to John? And then John was like, you know we're naming him Ethan. So his name is Ethan. A lot of people ask me if he is named after Ethan Klein from H3H3, and he's not. I actually just got into H3H3 this last year, but I don't know, I love him. So that's his name. Your hands are so cold, baby. So the second question is, what kind of pet and what is the breed? So Ethan is a cat. I don't know anything about cat breeds. Short hair, is that right? If you know anything about Ethan, let me know. Ah, you're mean! He's a mean breed! How long have you had your pet friend? So today, the 26th of December, is 2 years since Ethan freaking came into my life. What is up with the cat? So this story, I don't know how concrete the story is, but yeah, we have a cat now. And his name is Ethan. He is part meatball and part sandwich, and candy cane and glitter and cookies.
He's got a really stinky butt.
And he's got a doo-doo butt.
He's
So
not getting a bath until he comes home with us. And he's got to get fixed and vaccinated and all that shit. And that's happening the 11th.
So the story goes, John and I were outside with his neighbor, and he was underneath our neighbor's planter, like the big planter outside. And John was talking, and I was like, is that a cat? It says, how old is your pet? And I don't really know. So when we found Ethan, he was just really, really small, and I just naturally thought that's because he was a kitten. But as we started feeding him and stuff, he got a lot bigger, so I think he was just malnourished. When we took him to the vet, we had to like guess what age he was on his paperwork. And I said, I just figured, you know, a lot of cats, mating season is the summer. I found him in December, so I figured he was like 6 months old. And then we got his paperwork back and it said a year plus. A year plus, I don't know what that means. So Ethan's age is kind of a big question mark. Whenever I fill out his paperwork, I'm like 2 years, maybe? I don't know. He's a mystery. So once we started feeding him and kind of fattening him up, he's always been this big. So this says, what is your favorite memory with your pet? I don't know. I think, like, when we found Ethan, you know, John and I were working on that house and we let Ethan live there because we were like, well, I don't think we're ready for a pet, especially like relationship pet. So we were like, all right, like let him just live in this house. You know, it is December, it's gonna be cold. Like it's better he lives inside than on the streets, whatever. And I just felt like it was my duty to make sure like I got him neutered and got all his shots before I like set him back on Earth. There's a lot of like catch and release shelters in Philadelphia that do the same thing. Like the cat we were fostering when I lived in West Philly, like she was kind of one of those cats too, where they like, you know, neuter them and then kind of put them back in the world. So I thought, you know, I would do the same thing. I was like, you know, I got a couple bucks, you know, give one of these like catch and release places a break. When I got ready to take Ethan to the ASPCA, I just put him in the little cat carrier and I expected him to fight me and he didn't. He was curious, he was alert, he was cute, he was smelly. When I brought him to the ASPCA, you know, everybody at like 8 o'clock drops all their pets off and then at 2 o'clock you pick up all your pets. I think that's just easier for the system. And I remember dropping Ethan off and he let out this little and I was like, that's my boy. That's my freaking boy that you're taking away. So I think after that, like I knew that it was me and Ethan against the world. We took like public transit to get there. I was like, here's my cat. And when he was like healing and stuff after all that, he had this big cone on and I just like fell so hard for him. John and I were both like, so we're keeping this cat, aren't we? So what are some quirky things about your pet's personality? I think every aspect of Ethan is really quirky. He's like really, really weird. Like I've had cats before in my life and I've never met any cat like him. He's really social and like really lovable. He really like, if you're doing something, he wants to know exactly what you're doing. He wants to be involved. He'll come up to you and let you know when he wants to be picked up. Like I come home and I end up like carrying him around the house. Like I throw him over my shoulder to like do some stuff too. He just like, he always wants to know what you're doing and like, he always wants to be in the same exact room as me. Even if he's like playing it cool, I'm like, there's so much Ethan hair on my face. Even if he's like playing it cool, he'll like come into the room and be like, if you're doing something, I don't care. I'm just like already sitting here. And you're like, okay, Ethan, sure. I like that, and he just like, he sleeps in the bed with me, and I think that that is like really rare too. I've never had a cat that was like very interested in doing that kind of stuff, but Ethan will let me cuddle him and hold him. Like he'll get into a lot of trouble. He's definitely like super social in that way. Like if like 2 weeks ago I had a lit candle next to me while I was working, and he touched the flame because I was like on the computer. And I like smell burnt hair and I'm like, oh my God. And it's Ethan like touching the flame, like Taylor Swift, like, so I was like, dude. And then a minute later, he knocked the whole thing on the floor. And I'd been working for like 2 hours, so there was a lot of like wet wax accumulated in there. And I just had to like turn the rug a different way. I was like, what the fuck? So he's a dick and I love him. What does your relationship with your pet mean to you? Kind of everything. Like, when I'm really sad, you know, people say your pet can tell, and I think that Ethan really can. Like, if I'm laying on the couch just, like, slumped over, he'll come and just lay next to me. Even if he's, like, still too cool, he'll do that. It wasn't until, like, this summer that he would lay, like, close to my face. Like, he always laid, like, at the foot of the bed, and then this summer just, like, right next to my face. So I think he just, like, I don't know, like, I hate to be like, we're connected, because every time I show symptoms of being like a crazy cat lady, I try to like back off. But I really do love Ethan, and he helps me take care of myself. Like, I know that I have to feed him in the morning and feed him at night and make sure he's okay and make sure he has a roof over his head and he's in great health. And a lot of that, like, comes back to me. And I think, like, having Ethan in my home makes me just take better care of myself because I want the best for him. And unbiasedly so, like, I would do anything for Ethan. So that kind of bounces off and, like, makes me have to take better care of myself. Because I'm like, oh, something happens to me, who's gonna take care of Ethan? I don't trust anybody. There's so much hair in my mouth. What are some of your favorite pastimes with your pet? So I just love kicking it with Ethan. Like, when we sleep together, it's really cute, but he makes sure that he wakes me up really early, so, like, I hate that. But so I got Ethan, like, a little leash and stuff because I like to take him on the front step and brush him, and that way, like, I can just pick the hair out of the brush and kind of just, like, throw it, and I'm like, a bird's nest needs this. Thank you. So it's always cool to, like, sit on the front step with him and, like, brush him and hang out with him, and he likes to, like, roll around. I take him on walks a little bit, but I don't want him to, like, get fleas or anything because I do live in Philadelphia, so I'm kind of like, all right, we can walk a little bit, but if you get fleas, I'm gonna be bummed out. So we kind of walk a little bit. He's cool on the leash, but I just love having him. We get, like, I guess catcalled whenever we walk around. So, like, I don't know. I don't love that. So we do kind of stay, like, close to home whenever we walk around, but sometimes I'll put him in his cat carrier, which I got with, like, a diagonal strap so I can put him on my bike. You know, I'm riding with him on my bike. And I just love when he's around. He's, like, my best friend. So what nicknames do you call your pet? And that's the last question. I will call Ethan anything. Sometimes it's just like a really high-pitched scream when I see him. I'm just like, my boy, come here! And he loves it. He loves his name. Come here. You're so weird. You're such a freak. I can't believe you were born so weird. Oh, my little weenie. I love you. Do you know? Do you know? You're my little freak boy. Stop! Ethan, what was that? Oh, I left the oven on. So I'll just kind of call Ethan whatever comes to mind. I'm kind of just like a term of endearment ass chick. So kind of just like whatever. Usually the thing I call him the most is weird. Like as a name. Just, he's fucking weird. Are you? Aren't you 100% weird? I like to pick the boogers out of his eyes. He hates that. They're always so crusty. His little camo collar. Sometimes he gets really dialed up and that's when I call him mean. But like, that's his name. Not that he's being mean, but that he's mean! Can you get the hair out of my mouth? So yeah, that's Ethan. That is my cat. I love him so much. He lives in this home with me and and I'll never move into an apartment that he can't come to. Isn't that right, my boy? Guys, if you have any more questions about Ethan, definitely let me know in the comments down below. And thank you so much. Happy birthday, Ethan. The light of my life. Thank you so much to anyone who's ever done, like, art of Ethan. I love it so much. Like, I never ever get sick of it. I think it's really cool that Ethan is friends with all of us. He's my best friend. And he's huge. I could go on. Okay, bye.